You don't need more motivation. You need discipline. Imagine this. Two people start at the same place. Same talents, same dreams, same opportunities. One of them wakes up early, pushes through discomfort, says no to distractions, and keeps showing up, day after day. The other waits to feel ready. They wait for motivation, for inspiration, for the perfect timing. But that feeling never lasts. Fast forward 1 year. One of them is living the life they dreamed of. The other is still dreaming. What made the difference? Not talent, not luck, not intelligence, discipline. In a world obsessed with quick fixes and instant results, we've forgotten the quiet power of discipline. It's not flashy, it doesn't scream for attention, but it's the engine behind every lasting achievement. Motivation is temporary, discipline is reliable. When motivation dies down, and it always does, discipline steps in and keeps you moving forward. It's the voice in your head that says, do it anyway, when everything in you wants to quit. Think about any successful person you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, writers, leaders. What separates them from the rest isn't just passion or creativity. It's their ability to do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like it. They train when they're tired. They work when they're uninspired. They keep going when results are slow, because they know this truth. Success doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from showing up consistently over time. And that consistency, it's built on discipline. So the question isn't, how can I stay motivated? The real question is, am I willing to be disciplined? Because discipline is a choice, a muscle, a skill. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Your future, your goals, your dreams, they don't depend on how you feel today. They depend on what you do. So when the excuses show up, when the laziness creeps in, when the doubt gets loud, choose discipline. Because in the end, discipline will take you where motivation never could. No one is born disciplined, but anyone can become it. When Ethan was a child, he believed successful people were just built different. You know, those rare individuals who woke up at 5 a.m., ran marathons, read books like Breathing Air, and said no to distractions without even flinching. He thought they were wired with something he didn't have. Until the day everything changed. It was a cold Tuesday morning. Ethan stood in front of the mirror, looking at someone he barely recognized. Tired eyes, half-finished goals, another year of broken resolutions. He had big dreams, but zero consistency. That morning, instead of making another excuse, he made a different choice. I don't need to be born with discipline, he thought. I just need to practice it. What Ethan didn't realize is that he had stumbled upon one of the most powerful truths about success. Discipline isn't something you have, it's something you build. And like any skill, playing the piano, learning a new language, lifting weights, it gets stronger with repetition. So he started small. He set one alarm instead of 5. He made his bed. He drank a glass of water before reaching for his phone. He read 2 pages instead of scrolling for 20 minutes. He showed up for himself, even when no one else was watching. At first, it felt awkward. It didn't feel natural. But that's the point. Discipline isn't natural in the beginning. It's uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar. But over time, something incredible began to happen. The same man who couldn't follow through on a single promise was now completing entire 30-day challenges. The man who gave up after 2 days was now sticking with routines for months. Ethan didn't become a machine. He didn't become perfect. He became disciplined because every time he chose structure over chaos, intention over impulse, purpose over pleasure, he was training a muscle no one could see, but everyone would eventually notice. You see, we often wait for the feeling of being disciplined before we act, but that's backward. You don't act disciplined because you feel disciplined. You feel disciplined because you act with discipline. And if you mess up, good. That's part of the training. Falling off isn't failure, it's feedback. You get back up and try again, because every attempt makes the muscle stronger. So no, you weren't born with unshakable self-control, but you don't need to be. Discipline isn't a trait reserved for the elite. It's a skill available to anyone brave enough to start small, stay consistent, and keep showing up, just like Ethan did. The marshmallow test and the secret to winning at Life If. In the late 1960s, a group of researchers at Stanford University gathered a bunch of 4-year-olds, sat them down in a room, and placed a single marshmallow in front of each child. Then came the challenge. If you can wait 15 minutes without eating this marshmallow, the researcher said, you'll get 2 marshmallows instead of 1. Simple choice, right? Well, not really. Some kids grabbed the marshmallow the moment the adult walked out. Others fidgeted, sang songs, covered their eyes, kicked the table, doing everything they could to resist the sweet temptation. A few made it. Most didn't. But here's where it gets interesting. Years later, the researchers followed up with those kids. The ones who had waited, they were doing better in almost every area of life. Higher test scores, healthier relationships, better jobs, more confidence. Why? Because they had mastered something most adults still struggle with: delayed gratification. The ability to sacrifice what you want now for what you want most. And that single choice between what's easy and what's right is what separates short-term pleasure from long-term success. Let me tell you about Maya. Maya wanted to write a book. She dreamed about it for years, but always got stuck in the same loop. Writing a few pages, then binge-watching Netflix, outlining chapters, then checking her phone, waiting for the perfect mood that never lasted. One day, she had enough. She looked in the mirror and asked herself the tough question: do I want comfort today or pride tomorrow? From that day on, every time she sat down to write, she imagined 2 marshmallows sitting on the desk in front of her. Not literally, but emotionally. The first was the dopamine hit of distraction: scrolling, snacking, procrastinating. The second, the long-term reward: finishing her book, holding it in her hands, changing lives with her words. And that made all the difference. You see, discipline isn't about denying yourself forever. It's about choosing wisely now so that you can live fully later. We live in a world addicted to now. Fast food, fast likes, fast results. But true success? It waits quietly behind the doors of patience. Every time you delay gratification, every time you choose to work out instead of sleep in, save money instead of spend impulsively, or stay focused instead of distracted, you're casting a vote for the future you. Discipline isn't punishment. It's a promise to yourself from yourself that you're worth the wait. So next time you're faced with a choice between what feels good now and what feels right for your future, remember the marshmallow and wait for the second one. Big dreams start with small wins. Liam used to think success came from huge, life-changing decisions. You know, quitting your job to launch a business, waking up at 4 a.m. to hit the gym, or writing 1,000 pages in one sitting. That belief nearly broke him. Every time he set a massive goal, he went all in for a few days, only to crash, burn out, and feel worse than before. He thought he lacked discipline. In reality, he lacked strategy. Then one night, he came across a quote that flipped his mindset. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. James Clear. That hit him like a lightning bolt. Liam realized that the people who succeed aren't the ones who go big for a moment. They're the ones who go small, consistently. So he made a new plan. Instead of trying to overhaul his entire life, he made one small rule. Write just 1 sentence a day. That's it. Even on bad days, lazy days, uninspired days, just 1 sentence. At first, it felt pointless, insignificant. How could 1 sentence ever lead to writing a full book? But after 2 weeks, something amazing happened. 1 sentence became 2, then 5, then entire pages. He stopped relying on motivation. He started showing up because it had become a habit. Liam wasn't chasing intensity anymore. He was building identity. He wasn't proving something to the world. He was proving something to himself. I'm the kind of person who shows up, even if it's just a little. That's the secret. You don't need massive action to win. You need consistent action, no matter how small. Because habits are the invisible architecture of success. They shape your future, one decision, one behavior, one tiny step at a time. You want to be fit? Start with 10 push-ups. Want to be a reader? Read 1 page. Want to eat healthier? Swap 1 soda for water. Want to transform your life? Do something so small it's impossible to fail. Why? Because success doesn't come from occasional greatness. It comes from daily discipline. And here's the most beautiful part. Every time you follow through on a habit, no matter how small, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Every action says, this is who I am now. Over time, those tiny votes stack up, until one day you wake up and realize you didn't just change your habits, you changed your life. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by how far you have to go, Don't focus on the finish line. Focus on the next small step. Start tiny. Stay steady. And trust this truth. Big dreams are built on small wins. Willpower isn't enough. You need to control the battlefield. Jake thought he just needed more willpower. He'd tell himself, this time I'll be different. No more late night scrolling, no more junk food, no more procrastinating. And for a day or two, it worked. Then came the familiar cycle. One cookie turned into 10. One YouTube video became 3 hours. One quick break meant he never returned to work. He felt weak, ashamed, undisciplined. But the problem wasn't Jake's willpower. It was his environment. You see, Jake was trying to fight battles he had no business fighting, at least not on that battlefield. His snacks were in plain sight. His phone buzzed every 5 minutes. His workspace was a mess. Netflix autoplayed as if it knew his weakness better than he did. One night, after yet another day wasted, Jake asked himself a new question. What if I stopped trying to fight temptation and just made it harder to reach me? That question changed everything. He started small. He deleted social media apps from his phone. He moved snacks to the highest cabinet, out of sight, out of mind. He placed his phone in another room when he worked. He laid out his gym clothes the night before. He cleaned his desk, lit a candle, and made it feel like a place that invited focus, not chaos. Within days, he noticed something strange. He didn't need as much willpower anymore. Because the truth is, discipline isn't just about inner strength. It's about smart systems. And your environment is either your ally or your enemy. Imagine trying to quit sugar with a jar of candy on your desk, trying to focus while your phone lights up every minute, trying to sleep better with a TV in your bedroom and caffeine on your nightstand. We blame ourselves for not being strong enough, but often we've just made the wrong things too easy and the right things too hard. So here's the shift. Stop depending on discipline alone. Start designing your surroundings. Want to read more? Put a book on your pillow. Want to eat healthy? Meal prep on Sunday. Want to stop scrolling? Log out, uninstall, unplug. Set yourself up to succeed before the moment of temptation arrives. Because by the time you're in the battle, it's already too late. You don't rise to the challenge, you fall to your level of preparation. The most disciplined people aren't the strongest, they're just the best at removing friction. So take a look around. What's one thing you can change right now to support your future self? Move it, hide it, delete it, rearrange it, replace it. Because your environment is always speaking to you. Make sure it's saying, you've got this. The man who walked in circles. There was once a man named David who wandered deep into the desert. He wasn't lost, but he had no map, no destination, and no plan. He simply started walking. 1 hour passed, then 2, then 5. He cleaned his desk, lit a candle, and made it feel like a place that invited focus, not chaos. Within days, he noticed something strange. He didn't need as much willpower anymore. Because the truth is, discipline isn't just about inner strength. It's about smart systems. And your environment is either your ally or your enemy. Imagine trying to quit sugar with a jar of candy on your desk. Trying to focus while your phone lights up every minute. Trying to sleep better with a TV in your bedroom and caffeine on your nightstand. We blame ourselves for not being strong enough, but often we've just made the wrong things too easy and the right things too hard. So here's the shift. Stop depending on discipline alone. Start designing your surroundings. Want to read more? Put a book on your pillow. Want to eat healthy? Meal prep on Sunday. Want to stop scrolling? Log out, uninstall, unplug. Set yourself up to succeed before the moment of temptation arrives. Because by the time you're in the battle, it's already too late. You don't rise to the challenge. You fall to your level of preparation. The most disciplined people aren't the strongest. They're just the best at removing friction. So take a look around. What's one thing you can change right now to support your future self? Move it, hide it, delete it, rearrange it, replace it. Because your environment is always speaking to you. Make sure it's saying, you've got this. The man who walked in circles. There was once a man named David who wandered deep into the desert. He wasn't lost, but he had no map, no destination, and no plan. He simply started walking. 1 hour passed, then 2, then 5. By sunset, he looked back and realized something shocking. He had walked in a giant circle, right back to where he started. That's what life looks like without clear goals. You're not lazy. You're not broken. But if you don't know exactly where you're going, how will you know what to do today? That was exactly what Jenna struggled with. She had dreams, vague ones. Be successful, get in shape, start a business someday. But because her goals weren't clear, every day felt like wandering through fog. She worked hard, but made little progress. She was tired, busy, constantly moving, but not in the right direction. Then she read something that changed everything. Clarity is power. So Jenna sat down, grabbed a journal, and wrote, "What exactly do I want? Why do I want it? And what steps will take me there?" She turned get in shape into work out 3x a week, track meals, and run a 5K in 3 months. She changed be successful to launch my freelance design website by October 1st and land 3 paying clients. Suddenly, her days had purpose. She wasn't just reacting, she was acting with direction. Because here's the truth. Goals give you a compass. They turn effort into progress. They make discipline easier. Because now you're aiming at something real. Without a goal, everything feels urgent. With a goal, you know what to say no to. Discipline without direction feels like punishment, but discipline with a purpose, that feels like freedom. Each morning, Jenna would look at her goals and ask, what's one thing I can do today that moves me closer? Some days, it was tiny, sending one email, stretching for 10 minutes. Other days, it was big, pitching a new client or running 4 miles. But every step, no matter how small, moved her forward. A month later, she felt unstoppable. Not because she had achieved it all, but because she finally knew where she was going. And that made all the difference. So if you ever feel stuck or lost, don't ask, what should I do? Ask instead, where do I want to go? Then make the target clear. Make it measurable. Make it visible. Make it real. Because clarity doesn't just create action, it creates confidence. And when your goals are clear, your discipline becomes powerful. The most powerful person is the one who doesn't quit. When Mia was 12 years old, she watched her dad build a treehouse. But what fascinated her wasn't the treehouse itself. It was the number of times he failed. He hammered the wrong boards. The ladder broke twice. A storm ruined half the roof before it was done. There were scraped hands, sore muscles, and days when quitting would have made perfect sense. But every time something went wrong, her dad just smiled and said, "We're not done. We're just not there yet." And he'd go right back to work. Weeks later, the treehouse stood tall, stronger because of every setback. That lesson never left her. Years later, Mia started her own business. At first, it was exciting. The ideas, the energy, the vision. But soon came reality. Emails went unanswered. Ads didn't work. Her first product launch? A total flop. And then came the voice we all know too well. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. But then she remembered the treehouse. She remembered that failure isn't a sign to stop. It's proof you're building something. So she kept going. She tweaked the offer. She rewrote the emails. She learned from what didn't work and refused to take failure personally. It didn't happen overnight, but slowly, client by client, lesson by lesson, things changed. A few months later, she looked around and realized she had built something real. Not in spite of the failures, but because of them. Here's the truth no one talks about. The most disciplined people in the world aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who don't stop when they do. We're told to fear failure as if it's the enemy. But failure isn't final. It's just part of the process. The question is never, will I fall? It's, will I get back up? Because that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. The people who start from the ones who finish. Persistence doesn't mean pushing blindly. It means learning smartly, adjusting constantly, and choosing to continue, even when progress is invisible. So if you're in a season of setbacks, let me tell you this. You're not broken. You're building. Every failure is shaping you, sharpening you, preparing you. And if you just keep going, step by step, inch by inch, you'll look back one day and realize you didn't give up. You grew through it. And that's the real victory. You can't just delete a habit, you have to replace it. Every morning, Alex swore it would be different. No more scrolling first thing. No more junk food at night. No more wasting hours on distractions. He meant it, truly. But by the end of the day, he'd fallen into the same routines, again. Wake up, check phone, afternoon slump, grab chips, evening boredom, binge videos, and every time, guilt followed. He started to wonder, what's wrong with me? why can't I just stop? But one day, while listening to a podcast, he heard something that changed everything. You don't break bad habits by trying to erase them. You break them by replacing them. That hit hard. He realized he wasn't failing because he lacked willpower. He was failing because he was trying to fight a powerful force with nothing. Habits, good or bad, are like vines. If you rip one out but leave the soil empty, something else will grow, and it might be worse. So Alex decided to do something radical. Instead of just stopping the bad habits, he would swap them for better ones. He didn't try to overhaul his life. He replaced one habit at a time. Instead of reaching for his phone the moment he woke up, he put a book on his nightstand. Instead of chips in the pantry, he stocked almonds and fruit. Instead of mindless scrolling during lunch, he took short walks while listening to audiobooks. At first, it felt strange, almost forced. But habits don't need to feel perfect. They just need to feel possible. And over time, something powerful happened. The cravings for old routines faded, not because they vanished, but because something better took their place. You see, the human brain craves patterns. When we repeat something enough, it becomes automatic. So instead of trying to eliminate the old, the smartest thing we can do is overwrite it. Don't just say, I'm going to quit. Say, I'm going to do this instead. Every time you choose the new habit, even if it's just once, you're laying a brick. Brick by brick, it becomes a new path, a new identity, a new default. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. So if there's a habit in your life that you're tired of repeating, don't just try to cut it out. Replace it. Redirect the energy, rewrite the loop. Because change doesn't always mean stopping. Sometimes it simply means starting something better. And when you do that, over and over again, you won't just lose the bad habits. You'll become someone who never needed them in the first place. How small rewards build big discipline. When Sarah decided to change her life, she went all in. She created a morning routine, woke up at 6 a.m. every day, cut out sugar, started running, turned off all notifications on her phone. It was impressive until the third week hit. She was exhausted, and one morning, as she stared at her running shoes by the door, she thought, why am I even doing this? The motivation was gone. The excitement had faded, and for the first time, quitting didn't sound so crazy. But instead of quitting, she paused. She asked herself, if I'm doing all this hard work, when do I get to feel good about it? That's when it clicked. Discipline doesn't have to feel like punishment. It can feel like progress, like pride, like joy. So she made one small change that saved her entire routine. She started rewarding herself, intentionally. After each run, she let herself sip her favorite smoothie. After finishing a hard project, she'd take 30 minutes to watch her favorite show, without guilt. Every time she hit a weekly goal, she'd buy herself a small treat, a candle, a book, a coffee at her favorite cafe. They weren't extravagant. They were earned. Started goals, then quit. Made promises, then broke them. He didn't just lack results, he lacked trust in himself. Until one ordinary Tuesday morning, something shifted. He didn't wake up feeling inspired. There was no magical sunrise or viral video. What changed was this. He made a small decision and actually followed through. He got out of bed when his alarm rang, just once. And when he did, a quiet thought whispered, maybe I can trust myself again. That tiny win sparked something. The next day, he did it again. Then he added a 2-minute journal, then 5 push-ups, then reading 1 page. None of it looked impressive on the outside, but inside, he was becoming someone new. Because discipline isn't just about your actions, it's about your identity. Every time you follow through, you're not just checking a box, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. The more you show up, the more that identity sticks. I'm the kind of person who finishes what I start. I'm the kind of person who keeps going even when it's hard. I'm the kind of person who creates my own future. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. The road to transformation begins the moment you take one small, intentional step. And don't break the promise. That's the secret no one talks about. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to become someone else. It's about finally becoming who you were meant to be. And when you live with that kind of integrity, when your actions align with your highest self, something magical happens. You stop chasing motivation. You stop fearing failure. You start trusting your own power. Marcus didn't become successful overnight, but he did become someone he respected. And that, more than money or applause or titles, was the real reward. So if you've ever thought, I'm just not disciplined, remember, you weren't born with discipline. No one is. But every day you're given the chance to build it, to prove to yourself again and again that you are capable. You are resilient. You are becoming the person your future needs. Discipline is the bridge between the life you have now and the life you dream of. And that bridge, it's built one small promise at a time. So start today, start small, and never underestimate what a single act of discipline can unlock, because it doesn't just change your behavior, it changes your story. So if there's one thing you take away from this video, let it be this. Discipline isn't a talent, it's a decision. And the more you choose it, the more powerful you become. Every small action, every hard choice, every moment you show up is shaping not just your future, but your identity. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are just one choice away from momentum. If this message lit a fire in you, here's how you can take the next step. Grab your own copy of The Power of Discipline. It's not just a book, it's a blueprint for real change. You can find it through my affiliate link below. When you use it, you support the channel at no extra cost to you. And if you found value in this video, hit the like button. It tells YouTube to share this with more people who need it. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. We post inspiring content like this every week to help you grow. Drop a comment below and let me know, what's one discipline you're building today? You've got what it takes. You just have to keep showing up for yourself. One day, one habit, one choice at a time. Thanks for watching. And remember, discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It's the path to it. P.S. Ready to go deeper? Grab the book through the affiliate link in the description and begin the journey for real.